I've just had some new headshots taken. What roles do you see me playing? This is a question I see asked so often. If this is something you've asked or it's been on your mind, you are going to love this episode. You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode? Before we get started, I want to tell you about something super exciting that is happening. So on Saturday, the 27th of April at 2 p.m, we have got the Business of Acting Raise Your Profile and Book More Roles workshop. If you haven't already registered your free place at this incredible, insightful and inspiring workshop, now is an amazing time to do this. I'm delivering a full 2 hours of Business of Acting lessons that are very rarely taught, so you are super clear on how to raise your profile so you can start booking more roles. There's a workbook that goes with it, so you'll have a record of all of the best Business of Acting exercises you've learned, so you can keep using them long after the workshop is finished. There's a networking group, and there's lots of sneaky Business of Acting exercises that I'll be dropping in the group before the workshop begins to load you up even more. So if getting more acting work is something you are aiming for, get your place at this link, bit.ly/biz of acting free course. Or if you don't want to type that into your search engine, just literally go underneath this episode and click the link. Let's get started then. So maybe you're new to the industry and this word casting type is something that you've heard thrown around. You've heard lots of different people saying it and you're thinking, what the hell is casting type? Or maybe you've asked people what they think your casting type is and you are still no clearer. Maybe you're returning to the industry after a break and you think your casting type might have changed. You need a bit of a refresher, but whatever your circumstances are, casting type is important, especially as an early career actor. So what is casting type then? Well, Wikipedia defines it as, in film, television and theatre, typecasting is the process by which a particular actor becomes strongly identified with a specific character or one or more particular roles or characters having the same traits or coming from the same social or ethnic groups. So if we take an old school actor like Robert De Niro, he's been typecast as like a mafia mobster, the villain, those types of roles. And we can see with someone like him, it's never harmed his career. Some people would say that casting type is limiting, and you might think that yourself. And you might think, well, actually, I'm an actor and I want to play lots of different roles. I don't just want to play the nurse or the soldier or the gangster or the villain. And I can absolutely see that. And I can understand why you would say that as well. And it's because you want to be creatively stimulated. I fully acknowledge that and understand. However, that's another podcast for another day. Because in terms of the human condition and in terms of Business of Acting, let's say you do get typecast as the nurse or the doctor. Each nurse or doctor has their own essence anyway. So we can always find something new in each character, but I'm not focusing on that today. Today, I need you to start thinking with more of a business mind. So casting type plays into your brand. It gives you an identity in the industry. And this is really important in the early stages of your acting career, because right now you're just starting to build your profile and you need to start thinking with the mindset of, I need to become known for something. And when you start becoming known for something, you start building credibility. And casting type really helps you with that. So I want to give you an example. One of my students started off just like you. They had very, very, very little experience in acting. I think they'd probably done a school play, I think it was, at high school, secondary school, been told they had natural ability, but then never really done anything more with it. Then, of course, started training with myself, was very, very proactive, as most of my students are, very proactive. They started building up from scratch in student films, as again, most early career actors do. They're moving on to independent films, theatre, the typical way. But they constantly found themselves playing the druggy type of character. And I'm saying that in a non-judgmental way, but I'm just saying it in terms of like casting type. And this actor came to me and said, I'm really getting fed up with this. And I said, I fully understand why. Again, you want to be more creatively stimulated, you want to branch out. I understand that. But what I asked them to consider is this from a different lens. So I said to them, right now you're building your career, you're building your profile, and playing this similar type of role is actually getting you work. And that's the first thing, because that's the thing that lots of actors struggle with, is actually getting the work in the first place. And this person was getting a lot of work. And I said to them as well, it's also getting you onto bigger and better agents' books, and you're earning money from it. So right now, whilst it's not fulfilling creatively, it is filling a purpose, or serving a purpose, of that it is moving you forwards. And that's what you need to consider with casting type. Is it moving me forwards, or am I staying stagnant? If it's moving you forwards, keep going with it. Let's take a more well-known actor, Matthew McConaughey. His acting career started off in rom-coms. He got role after role after role after role after role in rom-coms. And of course, he too openly speaks about this in his book and in interviews, that he started to want something different artistically as well, and more artistically fulfilling and challenging in his acting career. And he did eventually break away from that by being intentional and choosing other roles to pursue. He wanted more weighty, meaty characters. But to start off his acting career, the casting type served him very, very, very well. And it served my student that I've just mentioned very well. Because what I've mentioned to you is that it's got them off the starting blocks. And it's got them working. And that's what you need to begin with. It doesn't matter whether you're returning to the industry from a break, you're brand new, or you're an early career actor. You need to get off the starting blocks. You need to start getting some work in. This is what you want right now, isn't it? And you can only build your acting career one role at a time. But you've got to get cast in the first place. And the way you get cast is by being very, very intentional with what your casting type is, because that filters into all of your marketing efforts. Now, I just want to share what I've shared with you in a previous episode, which is I'm not here to say you should stick to your casting type all of your acting career. Look at Matthew McConaughey, that example I've just given you. At one point in his career, when he decided, I'm not doing no more rom-coms, I want these more meaty, weighty roles, he was being offered rom-coms and he kept turning them down, and the producers kept offering him more and more and more money. And the money was alluring. He speaks about this himself. I don't know Matthew McConaughey personally, just want to put that out there. But he has spoken about this himself. And he kept saying no. And then eventually that paid off. So him being intentional paid off, and then he started getting, those more meaty roles. But the rom-com served him for a while in his acting career. So as I said in, I think it was last episode, you can always take your power back at any point in your acting career and choose differently. But what I'm saying right now for where you are is be strategic, be intentional as you're starting out, and go all in with your casting type, because it's going to elevate your acting career so much quicker than if you are trying to play anything and everything. Because what casting type does, as we've already mentioned in this episode, is it ties into your brand identity. It allows you to have an identity in the acting industry, and it does something called positioning you in the market, which is business nomenclature. Nomenclature is a very big word, isn't it? It's one that I've always wanted to use. It just means lingo associated with an industry or job. So there's a new word for you, if you didn't already know that one. So you've learned something else as well that you weren't expecting to learn. Well, let's take an example of Ferrari. Okay, so this is a very, very, very clear brand. They're not trying to be everything to everyone. So if we think about an actor who's trying to be everything to everyone, they just don't fit in anywhere. Ferrari doesn't try to fit in everywhere and anywhere. They're not worrying about the everyday person on the everyday income who can't afford a Ferrari. They don't bother trying to make cars for everyone. That becomes too tiring. It's too exhausting. It's wearing yourself thin. They're very, very, very clear on the types of cars that they make, who they're for, and it works exactly as casting type works. So as I've already said to you, I need you to start thinking with more of a business mind as well as the artistic creative side. Start thinking like a business. I've guided actors with this exact strategy for over 13 years, and it has really helped them get traction. So casting type's going to help you get traction too by identifying a few similar roles you can play and playing them well, because that's going to get directors to trust in your work and your skills and cast you. That's what you need at this moment in time. So if I use myself as an example, right now, I'm getting cast a lot in the nurturing roles. And those nurturing roles are things like teachers, social workers, the girlfriend who's trying to help her boyfriend get better. And this has been born out of my natural nurturing qualities as Louise. But this is also very intentional on my part, thinking strategically as well, because I know exactly what I'm aiming for. I know what productions and roles I'm aiming for, and I don't feel limited by this. So I would encourage you to get clear on 3 things. Number 1, your natural qualities. Number 2, the types of productions you're aiming for. And number 3, what you look like, because that plays a massive part in your casting type as well. So if I'm really honest with myself, my voice sounds nurturing, I look kind, I am a nurturing person. It's a huge part of who I am as an acting coach, as a friend, in relationships, as a family member, because I've got lots of nieces and nephews in my family as well. And I've been given feedback in seminars that I've done before, from the podcast, in the classes. Like, people find me very grounding. They find that I've got a bit of a motherly energy to me. And therefore, in my acting, because this is already a part of me, I may as well turn up the volume on it and use it to my advantage. And so I've come to use this as part of my identity in my casting type. So take a look at who you are as a person and what your qualities are. You know, a part of this will be included in your casting type. It is the physical attributes as well, which I'm going to come on to, but it is the qualities of who you are as well. What I would say with this is, you know, don't go and ask your mum or your auntie or your dad or your friends, because they're just not going to give you objective advice. Trust yourself. You know more than you think. And then all you need to do is test it out. So if you remember, if you've been listening to previous podcasts, marketing is an experiment. That's all it is. I've been seeing it in all the recent episodes, and it is. You just test out what works and what doesn't, and you keep tweaking. And it's this stuff that we're going to be going into more depth with in the free workshop on Saturday, the 27th of April, in the Business of Acting, Raise Your Profile and Book More Roles workshop. And as I've already told you, I've left the link under the episode for you. I really think you should be signing up to it, because we're going to go even further, and you are going to feel so much clearer and so much more confident on who you are as an actor. You'll be able to market yourself so much more clearly. Now let's go back to casting type. I know it can seem scary making a decision, but you have to. Just make a decision, even if you're not 100% sure, because if not, you're just going to flail around. You're just going to flap like a little octopus with its tentacles everywhere, and it's not going to get you very far. You're just going to waste a lot of energy. So once you make a decision on your casting type, you're going to feel confident. You're going to feel clearer. You're going to know exactly where you're going. So then the next thing is, look at the type of roles you want to play as well. This plays in a massive part in you making a decision. So as well as your natural qualities, what types of roles do you want to play? And then how can you combine that with your natural qualities? I already know the types of roles that I want to play. And that's what I've done. I've combined that with my natural qualities. And it just so happens that the types of roles I want to play are things like teachers, social workers, women who've been in abusive relationships, women who've experienced absolute hardship. It all ties into my life experiences, my natural qualities, and also as well what I look like and what I want to play. So then finally, as I've already said, take a look at what you look like. So are you stocky? Do you go to the gym? Are you quite hench? And if you are, do you look like the security guard type roles, the bouncer, the army type? Or are you quite petite but athletic looking? Do you look like you train a lot in the gym, but more like on a cardio level? So you look like you could play PE teachers, the gym instructor, a dance teacher. So that's what you need to do, is combine those three things together to create your casting type and then tell the world about it. Tell the world about it. Like, don't stop talking about what your casting type is in all of your marketing. And you'll start to find that it's easier to get roles because now you have positioned yourself in the market. That business lingo that I used earlier. So I want to ask you, has this episode inspired you? Has it helped you? Or has it been a good refresher for you? Please rate it if it has, and then go and claim your free place at the Business of Acting workshop on Saturday, the 27th of April. A recording is going to be available for 72 hours too, so you can go back over the exercises as many times as you want to. That link is underneath the episode, and I'll see you in the workshop. I've absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you found this episode inspiring. If you have, please do rate the podcast and hit follow so you never miss an episode, and I can help more actors like you. And come and join one of the most supportive, uplifting acting communities on socials, the Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, where you'll get your weekly injection of inspiration, networking, and receive your free Method Actors handbook so you can become an unstoppable actor.